Sorry, I had to get it together. That was freaky. I need to figure out how to fit in work, reading, writing, life, television, shopping, cleaning, meal planning. I just finished my laundry. I'm gonna need to iron. It's just too much. There's too much. Hi everyone, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse. Today's video is going to be just sort of like a catch-up-y kind of video because for one, I haven't filmed in a couple weeks, so I did sort of like power film a bunch of videos, which is what you've seen like over the past 2 weeks. And for two, I'm here to announce the winner of my book giveaway, or my book giveaway, the giveaway for my 1,000 subscriber video, Girls Like Us by Christina Alger. So I'm gonna catch up with everybody for a bit, and then I'm gonna do the announcement at the end. So stay tuned for that, or cheat and skip ahead if you want to. But I thought I would just sort of get caught up on things that are going on. It's been kind of crazy. Today is the 20th of October. It's the last day of Spookathon, and I would love to tell you guys that I had like a banging week and read tons of books, but I didn't. I am still very much struggling with how to sort of juggle work and life and everything else. So I feel like I'm like starting to settle into a bit of a pattern with like non-booktube life and work, and kind of like getting more of a schedule and a routine. But it literally just happens to be like a super crazy time there. And we have this huge 3-day conference taking place in the office next week. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but basically part of what I do is like I coordinate events. And we have an events team, but I handle like a lot of the logistics from, you know, prepping the space, whether it's like things getting painted or renovated or things that need to be done, to helping with like physical room logistics, how we're going to do tables and chairs, and kind of getting all the vendors in and out. We do filming, we're having a stage built. There's just so many moving parts. There's like 40 people coming the first 2 days of the conference. They're actually coming the first 3 days. But on day 3, we have another event taking place that could be another 100, 120 people, on top of an office that's already over 400 people, and I'm technically in charge of the whole office, so it's just a lot of stuff. So it's been kind of crazy, but it's going well, and I'm starting to find a bit of a groove there, and it's just kind of been all-consuming. So anyway, I'm still trying to figure out how to fit in filming, and still trying to figure out how to generate some creativity, because as I said in one of my other videos, I've just felt super depleted kind of across the board lately. But I've tried to take some time. It was beautiful here yesterday. I went for a super long walk, and for me, that is one of the best ways to sort of clear my head. I have like music on, it's just me kind of going at my own pace, wandering around. I wound up going into town, just sort of, I got myself like a coffee, like it was good. It was like this beautiful, perfect fall day. But I was starting to think about character names for NaNoWriMo. So I'm trying to like do my Preptober that starts November 1st. I'm trying to kind of get in gear a little bit with just plotting out. I think I said this in my other video, like I'm not a plotter per se, but I do need to get some points going. I need to get some characters' names just because I need to have something to kind of like tie into and feel connected to people. So I found myself drifting in a good way yesterday when I was walking, and starting to feel good about feeling creative. So all good things happening there. And then from a Spookathon front, I'm not going to go into the review of all of my books. I finished one. So you could wait for my October wrap up for that. But I did want to mention a couple things that I experienced during Spookathon. And the first one is, you guys know if you followed me, I am newer to ebooks. I kind of read them super sporadically. I'm like an old soul. I love a hard book. It doesn't have to be a hardcover, but I love a physical book, I should say. And well, I'm loving ebooks, and like they're super convenient, and I've read a ton of them. What I'm finding is just kind of like with audiobooks, I can't experience all books in that format. And some books I need to like actually have the physical book. So one of the books that I had picked up for Spookathon was Truly Devious. And this is sort of a YA mystery thriller, boarding school, which I love. And I started to read it in ebook format, and kind of the hitch with this book is there's a mystery that takes place at this boarding school, and this is how bad it is. I don't even remember how long ago it was. I want to say maybe it was like in the 40s or something like that. And then basically the headmaster's wife and daughter go missing, and this is sort of like an unsolved mystery, and these mysterious notes had started showing up and they were signed Truly Devious. And then we fast forward to present day, and we have our kind of Sherlock Holmesian detective, Stevie. She's a high school student. She is going to this elite school that has been reopened. And she is sort of obsessed with the mystery and figuring it out. So what winds up happening is in alternating chapters, we sort of jump back and forth in time. And there's a lot of characters in the past, there's a lot of characters in the present. And I was finding it really hard to follow along in the ebook, because I found that I wanted to like flip back, because in the past tense, you're sort of doing a chronology and they're interviewing different people and there's different perspectives, but I was getting like super jumbled, and this probably sounds really lame, but I was having a hard time like flipping back in the ebook, because it's just harder than with a real book. Anyone else, please? And then I was trying to do a little bit of it on audiobook, and while like the narration was totally fine, again, there were so many characters and there was so much going on and we were jumping timelines that I was finding that super confusing. All that being said, I went to Barnes & Noble today. So I'm supporting my local Barnes & Noble. I might have had a coupon for buy one cookie, get one free, and any excuse to go into a bookstore. So I wound up just buying the paperback. So I'm going to read it because I'm enjoying the story and I want to read it, but I was just having such a hard time reading it on my iPad. So I don't know if anybody else runs into that. So I want to say I got like 130 pages in. I'm not even gonna lie, I might go all the way back to the beginning and just start over again, because that's how disjointed I felt. So that's one lesson learned. And then the second one, which is not so much a lesson, but last Saturday, I was catching up on some YouTube while I was doing some chores, and I was watching Julie from Pages and Pens. And I don't know if she was doing like a book review or a haul or just like a catch-up video, but she was talking about this book. You know what's about to happen, don't you? And my antenna was up so high out of intrigue, and it's kind of like YA horror thriller, and she said it was like so super creepy, like really hard to read creepiness. There is some violence in it, but it was basically like messed up AF, but like so good. Like I needed an excuse to go to Barnes & Noble. So I picked up The Rules of Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. I have 100 pages left in this. It's like a 400-page book. This book, you guys, and this is for sure a book you need to go into pretty blind like I did. I will say Julie was not wrong. And if I wasn't such a scaredy cat, I would have finished this sooner, but it got to the point where like I couldn't read this right before I went to bed at night because I was too freaked out by it. But it's so good. And there's so many things that are good about it. So I'm just gonna read you like the 3 little bullets from the inside flap. This is nothing spoilery, but it'll do a better job than me. So once a year, a road appears in the forest, and at the end of it, the ghost of Lucy Gallows beckons. Lucy's game isn't for the faint of heart. If you win, you escape with your life, but if you lose, ... So this is a story about a girl named Sarah, and her sister Becca disappeared a year ago and disappeared into these woods where there is legend about Lucy who disappeared into these same woods when she was a small girl back in the 50s. That's my text message going off. We're going to ignore it. And Sarah is committed to finding her sister. So sort of once a year, theoretically, you can enter the woods, and she is committed to finding her sister. And she and her sister were friends with this group of people. There were 6 of them in total. And kind of the friends rally together and they kind of go on this mission, and that's how it starts. And this book is told in, like, it's just so ingeniously done. And I'm not even done with it yet, but I'm still like, it's gonna be 5 stars. It just has to be. I'm knocking on my wood floor. It is told like an interview transcript. It is told in sort of, you get some first person sort of account of what happened. There is text messages. There's sort of like video camera footage. So there's like a little Blair Witchiness to it. But like some like ghost story mystery, like I don't even know. It is so super creepy. Like I am loving it, but I'm freaked out by it, but I'm loving it. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. I couldn't have predicted any of it. And it's just, I have to say, from a writer's perspective, the way things are sort of doled out in the breadcrumbs. And again, here's an example. I find myself flipping back to be like, did I miss something? Did I misunderstand something? This book is so geniusly done. I can't wait to finish it. This is what I'm doing for the rest of the day. I'm like, I have to film videos because I'm so behind. I have to like vacuum and clean my floor and do like 10 other things and like prep for the week because it's freaking Sunday. But I will finish this book before the day is done. So stay tuned for my full review on this. But out of my comfort zone, so happy I picked it up. It's insane. It's so good. It is so good. And I love on the back it says rules, bones, hearts. All of these can be broken. Love it. And also while I was at Barnes & Noble, I picked up this little bookmark. I don't know if you can tell. I feel like it's gonna glare here. So it's Margaret Atwood from The Handmaid's Tale. I feel like it's gonna, is that helping? And it says, we lived in the gaps between the stories, which I love. It's one of my favorite quotes. And this is a purchase, so a portion of each proceed helped to fund literacy programs and book donations for communities in need. So not only do I get a super snazzy bookmark from Margaret Atwood, who I love, with a beautiful quote on it, but it goes towards a nice charity. So super successful back-to-back weekend trips at Barnes & Noble. Okay, so October is my favorite month. It's my birthday month. So I have done some book shopping. So I actually have a book depository coupon that expires today. I'm gonna buy something. I don't know what I'm gonna buy yet. I have, I think like 6 or 7 books in my cart. I'm not buying all of them. So I'm gonna weed some stuff out. I was doing some price checking against Amazon. And I may pre-order a random book from Amazon that I heard about on Lala's channel. So stay tuned for that. I don't remember the name of it, but it's like, it's something about how like, I'm into these things with like games. You're gonna start to see a theme. I'm thinking about filming like a more dedicated video. So Rules for Vanishing it's sort of like, it's a game and there's rules, and if you follow the rules, you'll be okay, is kind of the thing going on here. And I finished J.T. Ellison's Good Girls Lie, which is an arc that comes out at the end of this year, which is a boarding school, but there's also like a secret society kind of rules thing to it. I'm super eager to pick up Ninth House, which I've talked about before. I haven't done it yet. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm curious about that, which has secret societies in it. So I feel like there's all these overlaps in these books. And the book that Lala had talked about, it's like a game, I want to say these teenagers are playing, where they like break into people's houses, but there's like rules about what you can do or something with the break-in. I don't know. I will write down below what the name of the book is in case you guys are interested, because I'm doing a crap job talking about it. And then I also did do the book outlet haul. I picked up some books. They haven't come in yet. So there's going to be a book haul in the future. But I will say for some of those books, they are research for the book that I'm working on that I'm going to shelve in favor for my NaNoWriMo book. But after my Taylor Jenkins Reid online course that I took, which I realize I still haven't posted the video for, I am starting to become obsessed with research. So I'm doing some research there. So there's going to be some book hauls coming in the future. So there's that to look forward to. And I will say, with fall TV being all the rage, because all these shows are back out, I have been super behind on my TV watching. And partially it's because work, wah wah. And partially because I have been obsessively watching the ALCS, and the World Series starts on Tuesday. So I don't know if anybody else out there is a baseball fan, but I totally am. And I was up until after midnight last night watching the Astros beat the Yankees in the bottom of the 9th with a walk-off home run. It was amazing. It was the most tense game I've seen in a really long time. And I will spare you guys kind of the entire history of my baseball fandom and teams and all of that stuff. But what I will say So I have been, like, I grew up watching baseball. I've been a lifelong baseball fan, and I have not always followed a specific team. So I kind of like went through waves, and I'm definitely someone who connects with certain players and follows players, but there were waves when I was just sort of like a fan of baseball, but not necessarily like completely like following a team obsessively. And I was, I consider sort of like a lot of my time in Boston to be part of my formative years. And I had the great fortune to be in Boston in 2004 when the Red Sox won the World Series after 86 years and so many years of disappointment and so many years of being in Boston and watching them just lose no matter what, no matter how hard they tried. So at the end of the day, I would say I love me an underdog, and I haven't been following a specific team in the past few years, but in 2017 when Houston was in the World Series, they were totally the underdog, and I was there for it. And they very much reminded me of the Red Sox from back in the day. So I started to become kind of invested in the team. So I would say, like, I'm not a Houston Astros fan, but I'm a fan of the Houston Astros. By which I mean, like, I live in New York. It's not like I could watch every game that they play. If they're on, I will watch it. It's a lot of the same players who were there before. I mean, Verlander. It's just, I just love it. Like, they're just such a great team, and to like watch these guys play together. So like last year was super devastating when they lost. So when they were in it this year, I was all in for it. It was all in. So I've watched all the games, so emotionally invested. I cannot wait for the World Series. Got my eye on Houston, so hopefully they will come out on top again. But it was such an emotional ride last night watching this game. But I have not been watching a lot of fall TV because I've been busy watching baseball when I do watch TV. So I will say I've watched a couple first episodes of a few shows. So I did watch the first episode of Riverdale. And I think I've mentioned this before. Season 1 of Riverdale, I think, was just outstanding. I think it was brilliantly done. I think it was so surprising for, you know, the Archie comics in the darkness and where it went, and the characters were great, and the way they shot it was great, and the actors, the ensemble of that cast, like just so good. I didn't love the beginning of season 2. I ultimately was good with where it ended up, and it all kind of connected. And then I really struggled with season 3. I just did. So I think there were like some good episodes in between. I loved the Breakfast Clubby kind of episode they did, but as a whole, I didn't love it, but I'm trash for that show, so I'm watching it. And then Luke Perry, who played Archie's dad in real life, I think everybody knows, he passed away. So episode 1 of this season was really a tribute to Luke Perry, and understandably so and righteously so. And Shannon Doherty was on it, which my whole heart, Brenda and Dylan forever. I just thought it was amazing that she came on it and sort of had her connection to him and had her connection to Fred, his character in the show. So this is going to sound worse. I don't mean it the way it's going to sound, but basically it was like a throwaway episode in the sense that like there was no plot that transpired for the cast. It was 100% like a dedication to Luke Perry and to his character on the show, him as the actor, which I thought was great. Of course, I cried. They did, you know, some montages, but nothing, it didn't forward the plot in any kind of a way. So it was sort of a standalone episode, I should say. Throwaway is the wrong word to use. It was a standalone episode. I haven't watched episode 2 yet, but I will. And what I haven't started yet, but I'm super excited to, is now there's a Nancy Drew from the creators of Riverdale. So there's 2 episodes of that on my DVR. My DVR is bursting, that I'm very excited to watch. And since the World Series doesn't start till Tuesday, I'm hoping to watch a little Nancy Drew tonight and tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. But I have very high hopes if it has any kind of the feels of Riverdale. And I will also say, last I checked in, I was watching 13 Reasons Why on Netflix, which I finally finished. So super heavy. I think it was very well done. I think it's the last episode. There is an extremely powerful moment in that, and a speech. The character who plays Jessica is kind of, this doesn't spoil anything, in like the first episode of this, I don't know why my voice keeps cracking. the high school that the kids of 13 Reasons Why are in are playing a football game against the high school where Bryce winds up transferring to. And they wind up getting into this huge fight on the field, and everything sort of connects around the night of the football game. So they've kind of brought both the schools together in this scene, and she's making a speech. And it is one of the most like gut-wrenching, but beautiful, but like painful, but amazing scenes I have seen in a show in a really long time. It's just so powerful. And I thought the actors in it were amazing. It was just so good. So it is such a difficult content show. Trigger warnings for everything. I've talked about it before. But I thought they did a really, really amazing job with that. And I think the series itself wrapped up really well, and the explanation for what happened. But after that, I was looking for a little bit of levity, and I saw that Netflix had Legacies, which is another CW show, and it was one that was like on my radar last year, which was the first season, but I kind of like missed it. And it's one of those shows where like you can't really start at 4 episodes in, or like maybe you can, and I didn't. So season 1 is on Netflix now. Season 2 has started, so I'm just pre-recording these, or I'm putting them on my DVR so I can watch them when I get to it. But basically this is a school for like witches and werewolves and all of these students with different powers. Sorry about that, totally ran out of room on my card. But anyway, so Legacies. So I started to watch it. I want to say I'm like 4 episodes in, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. So it's definitely not what I expected, and I mean that like in a good way. And there's magic, and there's mystery, and sort of how the characters are connected. So things are like just starting to evolve. So I think I said like werewolves, witches, vampires, all of it. They're learning different magics. There's different levels. And then kind of the headmaster is this actor, Matt Davis, who's been in a whole bunch of stuff. And I don't want to say that's kind of why I tuned into it, but there was an ad for it when I was watching Riverdale, and I didn't realize he was in it. And he has been in like a whole bunch of things, including that show, What About Brian? I want to say he was in one of the seasons of Damages, but as with Riverdale, I'm like there for the parents. Because that's the parts that the people are playing now. I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna see where it goes. It's not like the best thing I've ever seen ever, but I'm intrigued by it. So I'm gonna stick with Legacies a little bit. I'm kind of watching it in dribs and drabs, but like it's starting to build. Again, I'm only a few episodes in. And then I watched the first episode of This Is Us. Super confused. By the end, obviously it all made sense, but like while I was watching it, I literally, because it was on, I was watching it off of Hulu, I actually stopped and like hit reverse, and I was like, wait, I'm watching the right show, right? Like I didn't like hit the wrong show or like pick something different. So the first episode, not a spoiler, but basically like none of the core cast is in it until like the last couple minutes, because it's about all these other people and how it all ties together. So I hate to say, I haven't been like totally pulled back to that show just yet. I was starting to lose steam with it last year already. We'll see. I love Randall and Beth's storyline. I love them together. I was intrigued by that story last year, so I'm curious to see where it goes now that they've moved to Philly. But I don't know. So we'll see. It's not pulling at me the way that it used to. And then I have watched How to Get Away with Murder. So I need to watch the most recent episode of that, because I'm one behind on that one. That's another show that I'm complete trash for. So this is the last season. All bets are off, kind of like anybody can go. This is not a show that shies away from killing people. This is another show where what I would consider season 1, even though they broke it into 2 parts, I thought was incredibly well done. Loved it, loved the characters, loved the mystery, loved the deviousness, and just like the complete like bottom of the barrel that people would go to for themselves, how they would save themselves, how they would save each other, just sort of the moral questions that came into it, the things that people did dark, twisted, messed up things that people did. I loved it. I was wholly there for it, wholly there for it. And then I was even there for the season that started with, you know, who's under the sheet. So we know that somebody dies, and we don't know who it is. And typical How to Get Away with Murder, like we see that somebody's dead and then we go backwards in time and everything gets pieced together. And I was there for the entire thing until they pulled back who was under the sheet. So this was maybe 3 seasons ago at this stage, so I don't feel like this is a spoiler, but if you are someone who plans to watch How to Get Away with Murder and you don't know who was under the sheet, I'm gonna give you a moment to mute me or to hit pause, or I mean to fast forward. So as I was saying, if you don't want to hear anything about what happened 3 years ago on How to Get Away with Murder, I'm gonna hold up my hand for the spoiler part of the situation. So just fast forward past this and I'll leave a timestamp down below. So I was so enraged when they pulled back the sheet and they killed freaking Wes, because the entire show is about Wes. I get that it's about Annalise, I get it, but at the same time, it was completely crafted around him as the main character. Like, he's the heart of the show, he's the core of that group, it's all about him. And Pete Norwalk, who is like the creator, even said that when they started that season, they didn't know who was gonna be under the sheet. And I feel like you could tell. They like made it up as they went along. So not only was it completely insane that it was him, when they like finally showed you how he died and why, it was like the worst possible death for Wes. Like, he deserved better. He deserved way better than this. It wasn't that the actor wanted out of it. I thought it was awful. The show's never been the same. It gives me such anxiety and rage, but I still watch it for those like, few and far between flashbacks of him. So I'm super curious to see how it ends this year. I wish they would have just killed Asher from the beginning. I can't stand him as a character. I think he's just such... Ugh. I just can't stand him. I don't think he's funny. I don't get any of it. He's the one who should have died all those years ago, and I can only hope that he finally dies this season, or I don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't think it's gonna be him. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, there's my rage. So that's How to Get Away with Murder. So yeah, still trash for it, still gonna watch it. Probably gonna watch it tonight just to see what happens. But yeah, season 1 was great. Watch the first 2 seasons. Super good, super good. So I kind of feel like that's all the happenings, and it's not totally exciting stuff, but I'm staying busy for better or worse. I did take another online writing class. I did one with Wendy Walker through She Writes, which is the same place I did the Taylor Jenkins Reid class, which I swear I will edit and put that video up. I was trying not to do back-to-back writing videos because I know very few people are here for the writing, but I will do that. The Wendy Walker one was interesting. It was all about like, it was called like How to Write a Thriller for Hollywood. So all of her books have been optioned to either be like movies or like made for TV movies. And well, at first, like, I'm not trying to like write a book to gain Hollywood attention, which she also sort of like cautioned against that. So it was sort of like, there were tips about like why some things work in a book that don't work in a film, and things to keep in mind if that really is your goal. But the core of the course is really about writing a really good thriller. So there were tons of great takeaways in it, and I really enjoyed it. I will say, I've talked about this, her book, All Is Not Forgotten. I was not a huge fan of that book. I found it difficult. I didn't enjoy the content of it. It was not what I thought it was going to be. So I did feel a little duped by it. But I do have Emma in the Night, which I've heard great things about, which I am interested in reading. So that's going to happen. And shame on me, she has a new book out and I don't remember the name of it, but I found it very interesting to hear about her process and her craft and how she, you know, crafts her thrillers. And then I have another class in the end of October, which we are nearly at the end of October, which is so crazy, really targeted towards query letters. So I'm excited for that one. Less about craft, but more about helping to get the attention of agents. So that should be super interesting. And after that, we go right into NaNoWriMo. So that's going to be happening. So I think for November, I am going to try and do some nonfiction November. I'm going to do a separate maybe not so much a TBR, but just kind of some nonfiction books that I have on my shelf that I would like to read, and maybe a couple of recommendations. I don't read a ton of nonfiction, not for really any particular reason, but everybody knows how it goes. You know, you read what you read, but I am not sure. I definitely, when I'm trying to write, especially in like a nano way where you're writing every day, I definitely expect to read less next month. And also I'm going to have to be mindful of what I'm reading, because I can't kind of clog my head with someone else's thriller, because for one, I think I find myself latching onto it, and for another, it's like hard to differentiate. And I will say, I think another challenge I had when I was trying to do Truly Devious is I was trying to kind of read one book like in the morning and then this at night, and I was also having a hard time kind of differentiating, because I typically try not to read two of the same genre books at the same time and have those going. So it was all too much. It was all just too much for me. But all things being equal, it has been a good reading month so far. I haven't clocked as many books maybe as I would have wanted, but I've read some good ones. So stay tuned for my month wrap up so you can hear all about those. And then let me know what you guys are up to, or if you're watching anything great, if you've read anything, if anyone has read Rules for Vanishing, because I'm going to be desperate to talk about this. I'm pretty sure it just came out also, but I can't say enough. I can't say enough about it. So I'm going to cut this video off so I can film a couple more and fold my laundry and then finish reading my book tonight. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and let me know what's going on with you guys. Oh, the contest. Oh, that's the whole point of this video. I have to do the winner for the contest. Oh my God, I'm such a boob. Okay, so everybody's here for the book, right? So not everyone who commented was interested in the book, or some people already had it, which is totally fine. And then also I know not everybody lives in the US, so that's a bummer and I'm really sorry. But we are gonna do the random number generator like I did last time, and we're gonna see what happens. Okay, 32, number 32. Yeah, that's me, I write them down. 32 is Christine Ortega. Congratulations, Christine. And we comment with each other so much, and we chat back and forth so much. So I know that you live in the US, and I know that you are subscribed to my channel. So shoot me an email at Chapter and Converse, and we will connect there and get your address, and then I can get the book out to you. So thank you for everybody for commenting, for watching the video, for subscribing. Thank you to everybody who's new here. Hopefully you'll stick around even though the giveaway is over, and have found some content that's of interest to you here. But I will be back soon with some more videos. I hope everyone is having a great day, and thank you for spending part of your day with me. And I will talk to all you guys really soon. Bye, everybody.